Welcome to the More Confidential.
All right, we are here, Season 2, Episode 8 of Mole Confidential, the last Mole Confidential for Season 2. Today we have Extra, Piper, Gizmo, Mario, and Alicia. So what we're going to do is we're going to run through a bunch of stuff. First up, one thing I want to touch on real quickly is Season 3 signups are over. We've received a ton of submissions, so now the process will start for us to go through these, review all the submissions, and that's going to take us a few weeks. And then we're going to try to pick about 30 or so people from that to bring back. We will contact you if you're chosen. And then you will come in and we'll do some interviews with you. So some of the crew members will interview you, find out, why you want to be in the mole, give us an idea, how quick you think on your feet possibly. But it'll be almost basically an interview process. So don't start messaging or asking if you're in the mole yet, because it's going to be a few weeks before we make decisions on who to bring in for interviews. And then, of course, we're going to then have to weed that down to the players. So that's all I want to talk about on Season 3. Now, Piper has something to talk about from the last episode.
We mentioned it in the Mole Confidential last time as well. I think Extra mentioned it. Yes, it's the same final three people again. Everybody keeps commenting on it in the comments. It's not fixed. We're just really, really good at playing the mole. So, yeah. I expected them all to disagree then, but yeah, they didn't.
Well, I was first out, so can't argue with that, can I?
Yeah, it is definitely not fixed. The players are eliminated based on their quiz answers. So, if they don't know who the mole is or they don't spread their votes out correctly early on, they can be eliminated. All right, so Alicia has something about one of the previous challenges from last week.
Yeah, with the word ladders challenge, there may be several ways and solutions to it. But there is only one correct one, so Boz will think of one and then put in the passwords to the door, and obviously you can't have two passwords to one door. So if you don't get the right solution, then you have to think of a new one, which makes it a bit tougher as well, I think. But yeah.
Yeah, I think people were going from give to gave, and the route I chose was give to live. So if you started off completely on the wrong path, it was going to mess you up. So, were the players off on the wrong track, or were they purposely off on the wrong track? That's up for you to decide. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is, I think there was a comment about how long does it take me to work out the routes to the correct house in the final challenge. Actually, it's really easy. Literally, all I do is after the players have taken those questions, not the final quiz, but just the questions about the other players for this challenge, I basically just stand at the starting point, decide if Piper is to the left and Wolf is to the right. I pick, a direction for that for each player, and I literally just look at their answers and walk down the road, look at the next question, walk down the right path, and then obviously I'll get to the house that's the final, and I set a work point in there. So it's actually a really easy process. Speaking of that challenge, Gizmo has something to address on that challenge.
There were some comments saying why do the challenge again, because we did it in Season 1. Well, firstly, it's an amazing challenge. Come on, guys. But in the TV show, they actually do it again for the last challenge, so it's kind of a ritual type thing. I think it's a really interesting challenge as well, because it's fun, like the Piper thing, questions. You can kind of tease people as well as being serious, so it's a nice final challenge to kind of suss out who is the mole.
Yeah, now
and it's very difficult too.
Yeah, and along with all of that, what they've just said, there was a question on this challenge about that the players get to choose the questions, or even possibly make up their own, and that's not the case. I come up with all the questions. I think Giz helped with Season 1. He may have done all the questions for Season 1. I don't remember. I think he might have. But for Season 2, I did all the questions, and I do try to come up with questions that I think would be interesting for that person to answer, maybe cause some anger or hurt feelings or just embarrassment. And one of the questions Piper's going to mention.
Yeah, it caused quite a bit of embarrassment because I didn't want to offend anyone. It was the question that we're talking about is who has the sexier voice, either Distill or Wolf, that I got. And I was in my own private Mumble channel and I was laughing out loud when I received that question. And I just want to say a big thank you to Belbuzz. I've not forgiven you for that.
You're welcome. So, will that challenge be in next season? That's, remains to be seen. All right, so here you see the finale room. Now, this is where all the eliminated players, which you can see are the red chairs, will come in. And obviously the green chair will be for the final survivor, and the big red throne that Alicia is bouncing on is the mole's throne. So Extra was going to describe kind of how this finale is going to work.
Okay, so practically what's going to happen is everybody is going to be warped here for the finals, in which the 3 finalists are going to go in one of these 3 doors. Pretty what's going to happen then is one by one they're going to get taken out by who's second place, who the winner is, and finally who the mole's going to be.
Yeah, so what I'm going to do is I will teleport them into these 3 locations, each person in a different one. I'll be asking the victims of the mole who they think the mole is and who they think the winner will be. Then what we'll do is we'll reveal the mole's last victim, who will come and take their seat here, and then we will reveal who the winner is, and obviously that will also reveal who the mole is. Now, just so you guys know, it's a little different than last time. What I've done is these rooms, if you see, they kind of all work their way back towards the middle of the room. And the reason I did that is just so that the players themselves wouldn't actually know who was in each of these doors. So you'll see here, the room I just went into is basically right there. In fact, you can see Mario. And then this final room works its way over here. So they're all basically on the same axis. So when the players are here and I watching the game, if they've got their HUD up, they'll be able to see the names. And if I walk into that door like Piper just walked into, and I go in there and say, okay, you have been eliminated, if they see the name, they're going to know immediately who it is. But they'd see all 3 names because they're on the same, X-axis or Y-axis, whichever it may be. So to still not 100% reveal it to them if they haven't figured it out yet. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to reveal the survey results, how you guys have been voting on who you think is the mole. Now remember, this is your voting for the previous episode. So this is the voting after episode 7. You guys think Distill is the mole. Are you right or wrong? We'll have to wait and see. Now, one little thing before we jump to your favorite segment. We will be recording another reunion episode. And what will happen for the reunion episode is all the players will come back, if we can get everybody, and we'll discuss the game, how some of the challenges played out, how the mole may or may not have acted in those challenges. If other players threw challenges, we can ask Pup, is she really that bad at parkour? So we'll go through a lot of stuff in the reunion that we can't do now. The finale for this that you're going to see here this coming Friday was filmed way back when we recorded this. So we will be doing the reunion again because we find a lot more out after watching it. The players see things that maybe they didn't see while we were recording because they were playing and maybe couldn't pay as much of attention. So it's always fun to see what people have to say. But next up, we have the favorite segment of Mole Confidential. So Gizmo, take it away.
The Mole Comment of the Week.
All right, our comment of the week comes from, I'm assuming this is the Nadetu. And
Yep, I think that's it.
And the Nadetu says,
That mole is someone so many spoilers on each video on who was eliminated that episode, who is the mole.
Wow.
Thank you.
My
Wow.
goodness.
Thank you, Dr. Robot.
Best one yet.
Oh, worst comment ever. I'm kidding. Love you.
So that wraps up our final Mole Confidential for Season 2. We will see all of you at the finale and the reunion, and hopefully see all of you, and maybe some of you are playing Season 3 of The Mole. So if you guys want to say goodbye, we'll head out.
Bye.
Bye.
Shoop de whoop. Piper still smells.